Sing as we fly by. You are a collector of vintage board games, and you've just received an email from your dealer of board games that she's found a new game for you, or rather an old one, and she's very excited to show that to you. So you've gone into her office and she's going to tell you all about the game. So I've got this game for you. I've been looking quite a while to find this for you, because I know it would be right up your alley. It is from 1968, and I know I'd normally try to get you something in a little better condition, but this is the only one that I could find that has all the pieces, and so I wanted to get you one, obviously, that you'd be able to play. Now this is actually quite a spectacular game. It's very fun to play, and you'll see when we get into the box. So obviously, as you can see, this is called the stock market game. It is designed for 2 to 8 players, though I will point out as we go through the game there is not quite sufficient money and shares to actually accommodate that number of players, but should you want to play with that many people, I have got sources to get more shares and money certificates. So as you can see, this is the new deluxe edition. Obviously not new anymore, but this, I'll point out a few of the aspects that they did change from the original game. This game was not run for very long. It was only produced for a few years, and 1968 was one of the last years that it did run. And so this is one of the best versions, which is why, even though this box is quite beat up, as you can see, it's got all these tapings and all of that, but I know you do like to restore boxes as well, so I'm sure you'll be able to bring this up to a standard that you would be happy with. But you can see it has all the makings. You do have all of your side pieces for the box, and you can see that it's a repeating pattern. So if you're going to repaint the box, you should be able to just mimic the pattern. You won't really have any parts where you wouldn't know what's going to go there. So you can see here, it is a Whitman game, and it has a mark there that it's registered with the patent office as well. So I'm sure that's long since gone. And so the tagline of this is that it's the aristocrat of money games, and I think it's quite a spectacular game. So So we'll get to the board a little bit later. Right now, I want to show you the other bits. I'll show you the top actually. So you do have the rules are written right into the top of the box here, and it gives you instructions on how to fit the slider into the board, which we will show you in a little bit later. So I'll explain the rules to you a bit more when we actually go and have the board out. But so the goal of this game is to try to reach $100,000. And so you'll see that. So you do a lot of buying and selling of stocks in this game. You'll have various prices. And so to aid in that, they do have this sheet which can tell you the different prices if you're selling 2, 3, 4, and obviously you can combine those to 50 shares or that sort of thing. And it does go all the way up to 230. So our lowest share price is $10, and then all the way up to 230. And there's a few interesting mechanisms in the game, but this just basically goes through that mathematics for you so that you don't have to have a calculator or anything else. You can just use this sheet. So I will leave this for a moment. We'll get to that. I'll bring out the board at the end. So here are all the pieces that come in the box. So there are 8 different stocks. I might just set this aside. So there are 8 different stocks that you can buy, and they are grouped together. So I'll kind of set them this way so you can understand. So these kind of go from your high-end stocks down to your lower-end stocks. So Alcoa and Woolworths are your most expensive stocks. So they range in price from $30 up to $230. Your American Motors and Western Publishing are your ones that go to the next highest prices, even though they have a lowest price than these ones. They go from $10 to $110. Then you have J.I. Case and Maytag. These start at $15, and then they go up to $75. And then with our General Mills and International Shoe, they have a beginning price of $18 and only go up to $42. So they have a more expensive price in these ones, but you can see that they don't offer a lot of growth potential, really, except in certain ways that we'll go through a bit later. So these are designed that you can put your number of shares behind each of the company names. So when you buy your shares, you put them under, and that signifies which company you own shares in. So that's those. I'll go through the money, and then we'll actually go through, go through the money and then we'll go through the share sheets. So an interesting little tidbit on this money that you can see is, so your 1, 5, and 10, so 10 and under are all written out in letters rather than having a numeral on there, and then going up from there everything has a numeral. So the 1 has this greenish color, we have a bit of a orange on the 5, a nice pinky color on a 10, bit of a turquoise color on the 20, nice red color on the 50, a darker blue color on the 100, but you can see the difference between the 100 and the 500. There's not a ton of difference, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but that's how it is. The 500 is this really pretty purple color, and I love the green of the 1000s. It's also, when you get to the point in the game where you start to get the 1000s, you know you're on your way. And then 5000, and then another orange with the 10,000. It's a similar shade. You can see it's a bit different, but there's not really much chance of those getting confused. And then the 20,000. So as you can see, there's not a ton of 20,000s. So if you did have 6 or 8 people trying to play, you would really run out of these quite quickly. So, but the deluxe edition is the one that comes in these nice little trays. So you can see it has the stock market money tray written right here. And so that's why I do really like this edition, because it shows you, it just really makes your money easy to get set up there. Now we'll grab the shares now. I'd actually forgotten that it had this on this side. There we go, Jerry Case. I'm not sure quite why they would have put them there. In that order, because, just put that under there. See, there is a little bit of damage on a couple of the things here, but overall most of them are in very good condition. You can see, just put that one at the back for now. So on the shares, as opposed to our money where it has mainly a white background with just a bit of color in between, these have a colored background with just a little bit of white accents on it. And so I really love the richness of the colors of the shares. So you have orange 1s, green 5s, nice deep red 10s, these lovely blue 20s, love the pink 50s, very bright and pretty, a nice aqua 100, and a nice 500. Very happy when you get your first 500. And then you have these yellow 1000s. So it's a little bit of a toss-up. In the previous version, they do have purple 1000 shares, which are very, very pretty, but I thought that the trays were probably a bit better trade-off there. So you can see they have nice little symbols here showing for each of the companies a different symbol for that particular company. We have General Mills right here, and they are embossed in here. And you can also see them on the card itself as well. So General Mills has a little cereal bowl, obviously because they do make a bit of cereal. International Shoe has a nice little boot. Alcoa has a little metal bar. Woolworths has a fancy pearl necklace. American Motors has an automobile, kind of an old-fashioned one, which is obviously relevant for the time when this was made. Western Publishing has a nice book on there. Maytag has something on there. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be. I'm sure it relates to something they made at the time, but not quite sure what that would be. And GI Case has some farming equipment. So I do really like this piece for holding some of your items. It's just really pretty and really nicely laid out. So the last things we have, as you can see in this box, we have this nice kit holder, which is actually a throwback to the previous version of this particular game. So if you see here, this will actually fit your shares in, and this will fit those in, and then if I grab some money, you can see money fits perfectly in there. So it's a little bit of a throwback to the previous version before they had these trays, or if you want to use it without the trays, then you can put your shares and stock names and money in this part. So it does come with 2 dice. Each time you do roll the 2 dice that we have here. So they are red with these green little dots, so kind of a homage to Christmas. Quite cute, and a nice little rounded edge, and just really bright red color. Here we have the running piece that goes across the slider. I'll show you that a little bit more when we pull the board out. So this is the one part that is missing a couple pieces, is our little tokens. So as you can see, we have 5 here. I'll just set them out. Oops. And so we do have 3 missing, but I can organize you the missing colors, so really easy to track down. I know there's a gray, I think there's a red, and I think a purple, but don't quote me on that. But here we can see we have a lovely black, a blue, a green, a yellow, and an orange. And these are just a nice quality plastic resin piece, and just kind of reminiscent of the time. Quite vintage and still in great condition for being about 50 years old. So that is our little pieces there. So we'll pop those back in. Well, why don't we set these 2 aside for our demonstration on the board. So I'll just get that out for you now, and we'll go through the rules see the board all laid out. So right here in the middle is all of the stocks, and I'll pop this on so you have a nice little plastic slider that's right here. That's red, and then it has this black bit that pops on. So you start off in the middle. Everything's right at its middle price. So your low ones are 30, your next ones are 45, the other ones are 60, and then 130. So these ones go up as they go this direction, and these ones go up this direction. So obviously they go down this way and down that way. And so I'll get into that bit in a bit, but first we'll just start off with how you actually start the game. So when you start the game, you actually have no money at all, and so you have your little players, and so for your token you would get to choose which job you want to start off with, and you have these 4 options here. So first you have a policeman, which is $100. So basically you start off and everybody rolls, and if anybody rolls, not just yourself, then you get the money from the number. So a 5 or a 9 is a policeman. The prospector is 2 or a 12, and that gives you $400. We have the doctor for a 4 or a 10, and that gives you $200. And then we have the deep sea diver, which is 3 or 11, and that gives you $300. So you just put your player on the space that you would like to select, and then you roll. Once you have $1,000, you do need to start. You can start earlier if you wish, so there can be different reasons why you may or may not want to start. But you can also work it, so for example, if you get $300 3 times, you would have $900, and then if you go over here, then you can get $400, so you can actually start with $1,300. That's just one strategy you could try to go for, and different strategies will play differently at different times. That's the beauty of dice. So once you've made $1,000, that beginning phase kind of ends, and you start off on one of these spots. So what you'll notice on these spots is they have an arrow, and so on your first roll, if you have an odd or an even, you have to go the direction that it says. All the other ones only have 1 arrow, so you always have to go the direction that the arrow says. So you can choose any of the 4 start spots that we have around the board to start on, and then basically you're going to want to start buying some stock. So I'll take you through a regular turn, kind of what you would do. So the first step in your turn is if you want to sell anything, you sell it before your turn, and then you get the pure market value. If you want to sell anything after you've rolled, then you only get the lowest value for it. So a bit of strategy involved in that. So with that, when you roll, so let's say you were on, let's just say you go to 7 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the first thing you do is you follow this instruction at the bottom of the square, and then this one says go up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 there. So this one is a specific spot saying that you have to sell all American Motors. So that's the first step that you would have to do on that sort of turn. and it sells it at the lowest price. So if we were at $70, we would be losing $60 a share. So that can be a rather large amount to lose, and that's why you want to sell before you roll, and you think you might land on a spot like that. So once you've followed the instruction, you can buy stock for the space that you're on. So even on these sell all spots, it is a buying spot for American Motors. So you could buy as many as you want at the market value, which would be $70 a share. And so that's basically how you first start getting stock. Now the next thing that happens is as you start going through, you'll notice we have these spaces, and these are your stockholder meetings, or these areas. You can see the name here. So to go in, so if you're coming back this way, you have a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To be able to go in here, you must own at least 1 share of General Mills. If you don't own any General Mills, then your only option is to go there. But if you don't, then you can start going through here. And so this space would be for every 1 share of General Mills that you own, you would get 1 share. So if you have 10 shares, you would get 10 more shares. So that would double the amount of shares you have. And then this is your best one, a 3 for 1. So I know I was saying earlier, General Mills is not, it's obviously doesn't have a very high end, only goes up to $42 a share. But in the shareholder meetings, you'll see that it does have 4 3 for 1s. So you can really build up your General Mills International shoe quite well. So when you're coming out, you can't just reverse on this and come back in unless you land on this spot. So if you had a 3 here and you went 1, 2, 3, then on the next turn you could go through on International shoe. Otherwise, if you were here and you got a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to sell all General Mills. So that's an important thing to keep in mind, is at the end of every stockholder meeting, there is a sell all space. So you can see at Woolworths, and then at the end it has this sell all spot. So kind of balancing between having cash in hand and having more stocks for the next time you go through is part of the strategy and what makes it fun. Now the other big game changer in this is this spot. So this is your broker's fees spot, and you'll see this one says down 20. These two are up 20, and that's another down 20. So if we got this one, we'd be 5, 10, 15, 20. And so that's really shot up these stocks, but if you were carrying a lot of this stock, your prices have plummeted. So that can really make a difference for the good or the bad, depending on which stocks you have and which stocks your opponents have as well. The other caveat on this spot is that you do have to pay $10 per share for every share you own. So if you own 100 shares, you would have to pay $1,000. So you want to have a little bit of cash in hand to be able to pay brokers' fees as well, because otherwise, if you're carrying something like American Motors, which has a minimum price of $10, if you don't have enough to cover it, basically you have to turn in your shares to cover the price. That's another place where carrying General Mills can be beneficial. So because it's $18 and it's not you're not really losing a lot compared to the upper end. And so it can be a good thing to hold on to in case you do hit broker's commissions and are down on cash. Just really depends on your situation. So that's that space, and then if you hit the start space when you're not starting, you do have to pay a $100 fee. So as you can see, it can be quite beneficial to pick up all of the stocks, because if you were, let's say, going this way and you are about to hit, sell all American Motors, you could instead start going through your stockholder meeting for General Mills and avoid losing all your stock at a really low price. So it's a pretty fun little game, and so it's really interesting because you win by having $100,000, and so you actually win on your turn but before you roll, so that's kind of fun. So it's just the first person to $100,000 in cash. So even if you have that amount in stock, you have to actually be at a point where you can sell it. And I think that covers most of the basics of the game. I think with your penchant for these type of games, I think you'll have some fun with it. It is quite a fun game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how you do it up as well. I know it'll look in immaculate condition after you restore it. So that's what I have for you today, and yeah, we'll just pop that back in the box and away you'll go. Oh, it's always a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm excited to see what wonderful game we'll have then. Okay, see ya.